Welcome back to the channel and get ready because today we're diving into one of the most shocking and unbelievable discoveries in the world of rare coins, a story that blends mystery, numismatic intrigue, and the unimaginable possibility that a common-looking piece of pocket change could actually be worth a jaw-dropping $42 million. And yes, we're talking about the seemingly ordinary 1992 1-cent coin that many people overlooked for decades without ever realizing that certain errors and mistakes hidden within its modest copper-plated surface could transform it from a simple penny into an ultra-rare treasure capable of changing someone's financial life forever. And as we move through this deep exploration together, we'll uncover the powerful reasons behind its astronomical value, the mind-bending minting anomalies that make collectors go wild, the subtle variations that can hide in plain sight, the fascinating circumstances in which these mistakes occurred, the countless possibilities for how such a coin could come into existence, and why only a handful are believed to be lurking somewhere out there, possibly even sitting unnoticed in a jar on someone's shelf, lost inside an attic, hidden in a collection handed down through generations, or even casually passed as change in some transaction decades ago. Because the story of the 1992 1-cent coin worth $42 million is not just a story about a coin, it's a story about historical timing, minting processes, mechanical malfunctions, transitional designs, human oversight, and the thrilling idea that a tiny overlooked detail can turn an object everyone assumes is common into something unimaginably rare. So let's begin by entering the world of numismatic mysteries, where the 1992 penny takes center stage due to a very particular set of errors and mistakes that give birth to its legendary value. Starting with the remarkable truth that 1992 was a year of transition at the United States Mint, a moment when design adjustments, preparation for new die varieties, and minor stylistic shifts were underway, creating the perfect environment for transitional errors to slip through unnoticed, including the most famous one of all, the misplaced use of the close AM reverse design on a year where the wide AM spacing should have been standard. And this seemingly trivial spacing between the letters A and M in the word America is the kind of microscopic detail that almost no one in the general public would ever notice, but for collectors it becomes the gateway to discovering one of the rarest pennies ever produced. And what makes the 1992 close AM penny especially astonishing is the sheer improbability of its existence, because it required the accidental pairing of dies from different intended production years, an event that would normally be caught long before the coins were released. Yet somehow a very small number escaped quality control and entered circulation, creating a phenomenon where a collector's dream was unknowingly mixed in with billions of ordinary coins. But the story doesn't stop here, because the coin's rumored value of $42 million isn't based only on this close AM variety, but also on the additional layers of minting mistakes that can appear on certain examples, such as off-center strikes where the entire design shifts noticeably due to improper die alignment, double die obverse varieties where Lincoln's profile, the date, or the lettering shows signs of duplication caused by multiple impressions during hubbing, and even die cracks and die chips that form raised metal lines or bumps on the coin as dies begin to fail, adding character and uniqueness to each specimen. And when you combine a transitional error like the 1992 close AM design with an additional striking anomaly such as a strong double die or a dramatic off-center strike, the rarity compounds exponentially, creating a perfect storm of collector demand, historical significance, and extreme scarcity that can elevate the value far beyond anything one might expect from a penny minted in the modern era. And imagine for a moment the experience of someone who unknowingly possesses such a coin, perhaps tossed years ago into a jar with hundreds of others, where the copper-plated surface slowly dulls over time but the error remains eternally preserved, waiting for the day someone looks close enough to notice that something is different, something special, something worth investigating. And when that moment comes, the realization hits like lightning, because the thrill of discovering an ultra-rare error coin isn't just about the money, it's about holding a piece of history that almost wasn't supposed to exist, a coin that tells a story of chance, precision, oversight, and the unforgiving nature of mint machinery. And the possibilities behind how these error coins came to be are as intriguing as the coin itself, sparking theories about whether a mint employee accidentally paired the wrong dies during a busy production shift, or whether leftover dies from previous years were mistakenly included in setups, or perhaps even a case where experimental dies were used briefly to test design spacing but never meant to be used in mass production, and yet somehow the coins created during that short test period made it out into circulation, slipping past inspections during times of high workload or rapid output goals, because the early 1990s were years of immense production demands with billions of pennies produced annually, meaning even a rare mistake could blend into the overwhelming sea of copper-plated steel and zinc coins without raising suspicion. And the more we explore these possibilities, the more we understand how errors emerge from a unique combination of human oversight, mechanical wear, and the constant pressure to produce millions of coins daily, where even the slightest deviation can create a variety that collectors chase for decades. And this chase, fueled by stories of ordinary people finding life-changing wealth in everyday pocket change, only adds to the legendary aura surrounding the 1992 penny rumored to be worth $42 million, a number so staggering it captures the imagination of anyone hearing it for the first time and inspires even those who have never thought about coin collecting to start checking their change, looking closely at each detail, examining every letter, date, and spacing, because the possibility of finding something so rare is irresistible. And when you consider the massive coin production numbers of that era, the chance that one is still out there somewhere becomes all the more exciting, especially since many error coins remain undiscovered for decades until someone with a careful eye stumbles upon them. And this brings us to another important factor contributing to the incredible value of the 1992 penny, the role of condition, because in the numismatic world the preservation of a coin dramatically affects its price, meaning that if a rare error coin survived in unusually high quality, with minimal wear, crisp details, smooth surfaces, and minimal scratches, then its value can skyrocket even further. And this leads to the speculation that the highest valued examples of the 1992 error penny could be those that were either pulled from circulation very early, accidentally saved in rolls, or somehow preserved in near-mint condition, making them even more desirable to collectors who compete fiercely to acquire the finest known examples of any rare variety. And that competitive demand, especially for varieties with extremely low survival estimates, explains why collectors and wealthy investors alike are willing to pay astronomical sums for coins of unparalleled rarity, causing values to soar far beyond typical market expectations. And when we consider all these factors together, the transitional close AM error, possible doubling varieties, off-center strikes, die cracks, minting irregularities, and the extremely low number of surviving coins, we begin to see why the 1992 penny has become one of the most fascinating and mythic pieces of modern numismatics, and the stories surrounding it often travel beyond simple coin collecting communities, becoming viral legends shared in articles, videos, forums, and conversations about coins worth millions, fueling curiosity and sparking the imagination of countless people who start digging through their spare change hoping to strike gold. And this cultural phenomenon adds yet another layer to the coin's perceived value, because demand isn't driven solely by seasoned numismatists, but also by everyday individuals captivated by the idea that rare treasures still exist in circulation, waiting quietly to be found. And each time a new discovery is reported, even if only a new minor variety or another example of an already known error, the story spreads further and the excitement grows, leading more people to pay attention to their change and inadvertently increasing the long-term value of these ultra-rare coins by driving sustained interest in the market. And when a coin's reputation grows beyond the collector community into mainstream awareness, its perceived value can take on a life of its own. Next, today's journey takes us straight into the fascinating mystery of the 2017 P1 cent coin, a coin that most people would overlook without a second thought, yet rumors and stories circulating among collectors, dealers, metal detecting hobbyists, and lucky treasure hunters suggest that one special version of this coin has reached an astounding estimated value of $34 million. Not because it is made of precious metals or because it carries some ancient historical legacy, but because of the rare errors, extraordinary minting mistakes, unexpected anomalies, and the possibilities that surround its existence. So stick with me as we unravel every detail and every hidden clue that makes this coin one of the most sought after and talked about modern pennies in the entire numismatic community. And to start things off, let's remind ourselves that the 2017 P cent was already iconic simply for being the first penny ever to carry a P mint mark for Philadelphia, something the U.S. Mint did as part of their celebration of the Mint's 225th anniversary, and while millions upon millions of these were produced and are still circulating today, there exists a whispered belief that a small batch left the Mint with mistakes that slipped past quality control and now sit quietly in someone's coin jar, purse, pocket, or old drawer unnoticed and unrecognized, waiting for the right pair of eyes to discover just how life-changing they actually are, and for a coin to reach a theoretical value like $34 million. The errors involved would have to be beyond typical, beyond common off-center strikes or light doubling, and instead would need to reveal something spectacular, such as a series of extreme die clashes where details from both sides of the coin were transferred in ghost-like overlapping images, or a dramatic double denomination error where the coin was mistakenly struck on a foreign planchet or even on the wrong metal type entirely, something that has happened before in rare U.S. minting accidents where a penny ends up struck on a dime planchet or a leftover blank from a foreign contract minting project, giving it a thickness, weight, and tone that immediately sets it apart from all ordinary cents. And in the case of the 2017 P, some collectors believe that a micro-run of cents escaped the mint after being struck with a misaligned reverse die that created a subtle but unmistakable shift in the placement of the Lincoln Memorial Shield, slightly tilting its alignment or positioning its elements in ways that no other 2017 P coin shows. And when you combine this with doubling in the date, distortions in the mint mark, or anomalies in the lettering such as a split serif on the word Liberty, you get a coin that transforms from everyday pocket change into a marvel of rarity that some collectors feel could command an astronomical value at auction if the right example were to surface. And imagine the possibility of a 2017 P cent struck on a leftover copper planchet. Even though modern cents are made primarily from zinc with a thin copper coating, and if even one authentic copper planchet error exists for this year, its contrast in weight and color would make it so distinct that it could rival famous coins like the 1943 copper penny or the 1965 silver quarter struck before silver production officially ended. And such a discovery taps into the thrill of numismatics itself, which is the sense that even the most recent coins might still have undiscovered secrets, some minted in the blink of an eye, overlooked by workers and machinery, and then released into circulation where they blend into the billions of other cents without revealing their true value. And with modern minting machines moving faster than ever, errors that once might have been caught in earlier decades now have an even better chance of slipping through the cracks, especially during transitional moments when new dies are introduced, old dies are retired, or commemorative mint marks like the 2017 P are used for the very first time. And that's where the possibility of a particularly valuable die deterioration error comes into play, with rumors that some early 2017 P cents show die polishing marks that create diagonal lines across Lincoln's portrait or faint swirling textures around the shield design, giving them a unique character that no other cents from the year possess, leading advanced collectors to speculate about a single experimental die being used for a short batch before it was discarded or replaced. And if that die produced unusual distortions or left behind doubling so dramatic that the coin almost looks like it's vibrating with layered impressions, the rarity factor drastically increases, because severe doubling isn't just an error, it is a phenomenon that highlights the inner workings of the minting process, almost like capturing a snapshot of the machinery malfunctioning at high speed. And when errors like this emerge in Newly minted coins, they catch the attention of new collectors and seasoned experts alike, fueling theories of ultra-rare variants that may never be found in large quantities but create a frenzy as people check their change with renewed curiosity, hoping to be the first to locate the multi-million-dollar treasure. And the 2017 P-cent fuels that excitement because it represents a modern treasure hunt where anyone with a simple jar of coins might unknowingly possess a piece of numismatic history that could change their financial future. And when we discuss a rumored value like $34 million, we're talking about a perfect storm of conditions: a coin that is one of a kind or nearly so, a coin that displays an error so dramatic that no other known example comes close, and a coin with a story so compelling that collectors are willing to battle for it at rare coin auctions, pushing the price into realms that seem unreal for a coin originally worth only 1 cent. And such value is fueled by mystery, speculation, rarity, and the emotional appeal of owning something that no one else on Earth possesses. And as with all legendary rare coins, the hype builds upon itself, with every rumor, every unconfirmed sighting, every reported anomaly magnifying the excitement and value even more, pushing collectors to search harder and examine every detail of every coin they encounter. Because the dream of transforming an ordinary penny into a multi-million-dollar jackpot is a powerful motivation, especially when stories of other modern coins with unusual errors have already sold for tens or hundreds of thousands, proving that incredible value is not reserved only for ancient or classic coins but can emerge even in the most modern of minting years. And when we imagine the collector who eventually discovers the ultimate 2017 P-era penny, we picture someone experiencing an overwhelming rush of disbelief, heart racing, palms sweating, barely able to breathe as they realize they're holding something extraordinary, something that challenges all assumptions about what makes a coin valuable. And that is the beauty of the numismatic world, the realization that the rarity of a coin is not always tied to age but to uniqueness and the unexpected. And the possibilities extend further as we consider that some 2017 P-cents reportedly show transitional errors where the mint mark appears slightly mispunched or in an unusually bold or faint style due to changes in die pressure. Or even cases where the zinc core is exposed because the copper plating didn't fully adhere, creating a dramatic two-tone effect that collectors adore, or the possibility of broad strike errors where the collar didn't contain the planchet during striking, causing the rim to expand outward in a smooth, wide shape that gives the coin a distorted silhouette unlike any standard cent. And these distortions, when combined with other mistakes like off-center impressions or missing design elements, can create hybrid errors so complex and so visually stunning that they become instant numismatic celebrities. And the awareness that the 2017 P-penny marks a 1-year-only event for the Philadelphia Mint adds even more weight to the idea that rare varieties from that year will always stand out from other dates, making collectors even more motivated to hunt for them. And so the story of the $34 million 2017 P-cent becomes more than just a tale of value. It becomes a legend that inspires people across the world to look closer at the small, everyday objects they take for granted, reminding us that hidden treasures sometimes sit in plain sight, unnoticed, waiting for someone with curiosity and imagination to uncover them. And before this video ends, I want to leave you with the exciting reminder that your next rare coin discovery could be just one pocketful of change away. So keep exploring, keep checking, keep learning, and if you enjoyed this deep dive into the mysteries surrounding the 2017 P1 cent and the incredible possibilities that make such coins worth big money, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel. Today, as we dive into one of the most surprising and captivating stories in modern coin collecting, a story that has gripped collectors, treasure hunters, and everyday people who have suddenly realized that an ordinary-looking coin might secretly be worth a fortune. And in this episode we're talking about the 2008 D1 cent coin, a tiny copper-plated zinc piece that has become the center of attention because of a combination of rare errors, minting anomalies, unusual production circumstances, and collector-driven speculation that have sent its rumored value soaring all the way to an unbelievable $13 million. And while that number almost sounds unreal, the mystique surrounding the so-called multimillion-dollar era pennies has only grown in recent years as more people discover that coins they once overlooked may hold the kinds of striking mistakes or unexplained varieties that can transform a simple cent into a once-in-a-generation jackpot. So today we're going on a deep, detailed journey that unravels why the 2008 penny has taken on this legendary status. What exactly could cause such a small coin from such a recent year to be valued so highly? Which errors and anomalies collectors believe make this piece so desirable? How minting mistakes, striking issues, planchet problems, transitional anomalies, doubled dies, overpolished dies, misaligned strikes, broad strikes, off-center strikes, die chips, die cracks, repunched mint marks and environmental or planchet-related imperfections all come together to create something far beyond the average 1-cent piece, and why certain rare combinations of these factors have led some collectors to speculate that a single example exhibiting multiple extreme errors could theoretically command a price in the tens of millions at high-end auctions, especially when combined with the growing fascination around the Denver Mint's production in the late 2000s, a period filled with documented quality control, fluctuations, minor inconsistencies, and increased reliance on die reworking to meet production quotas during a time when billions of pennies were required for circulation. And as we walk through all these interconnected possibilities, we build a picture of why the 2008 penny has become such a magnet for speculation, stories, and excitement as collectors race to find examples that display even the faintest hint of something unusual, hoping to possibly stumble upon the coin that specialists whisper about, the coin that could break records and redefine the boundaries of modern numismatics. Now the real fascination with the 2008 penny often begins with the fact that 2008 was one of the final years before the dramatic redesign of the Lincoln cent in 2009, meaning collectors already pay heightened attention to this era as transitional years often contain overlooked varieties, leftover die usage, hurried die maintenance and rushed polishing that can leave behind dramatic anomalies on the coins, and in the case of the Denver Mint in 2008, it was a year marked by extremely high production numbers, meaning dies were pushed heavily and sometimes beyond ideal limits, leading to common wear indicators such as die cracks near the Lincoln Memorial, chips inside the lettering, die deterioration around the date and mint mark, and faint doubling caused by die fatigue. But while these more subtle issues are interesting for collectors, it's the rare and extreme mistakes that fuel the multi-million-dollar mythos, the types of mistakes that occur only when multiple levels of minting oversight fail simultaneously, producing coins that are so unusual and so visually dramatic that they instantly stand out as mint-made miracles. One of the most discussed possibilities for the multimillion-dollar 2008 penny is a transitional planchet error, which occurs when a coin is mistakenly struck on a blank metal disc intended for a different denomination or a different year's composition. And although 2008 pennies were made from copper-plated zinc, there is consistent numismatic speculation that a very small number may have been accidentally struck on leftover bronze planchets from decades earlier or on experimental compositions being tested for upcoming redesign considerations, and such a mistake, if confirmed, would instantly transform a coin into a world-class rarity worth millions, because transitional planchet errors rank among the most coveted of all mint mistakes, and the physical weight of such an error coin would easily give it away if one were lucky enough to find it. But the storyline doesn't end there, because another category that collectors discuss revolves around the possibility of major double-struck or triple-struck errors, where the coin is struck more than once in visibly misaligned positions, creating overlapping images of Lincoln's portrait, shifting outlines, ghost-like repetitions of lettering, or distorted memorial designs on the reverse. And when these errors occur dramatically, the result can be a visually explosive masterpiece of minting chaos that fetches extraordinary prices at auction, and a 2008 example displaying such extreme multi-strike visuals combined with an unusual planchet or die error could easily push speculative valuations into the realm of millions. Then we have the discussion around die cap errors and brockages, which occur when a coin sticks to a die and begins striking subsequent planchets, creating deeply distorted faces or mirror image impressions that look like something from another world, and these errors, especially when complete and well-defined, become instant centerpieces of high-end error collections, with some examples from other years selling for enormous sums. So if a 2008 D produced such a spectacular error, it could absolutely fuel the idea of a $13 million valuation. Yet another layer of the mystique involves the potential for an exotic double die obverse or reverse, not the mild machine doubling often seen on common coins but a true and extreme double die where major features such as the date, lettering, or Lincoln's profile are doubled so boldly that collectors recognize it instantly as a major discovery, and because the Denver Mint rarely produces dramatic double dies, any such find would be considered monumental, and the first example discovered could ignite what collectors call a frenzy, pushing valuations sky high as specialists compete for ownership. There is also the possibility of a mule error, an almost unheard of mistake where the obverse of one coin is struck with the reverse of another unintended design, and while there is no confirmed mule for the 2008 D penny, the mere possibility is enough to spark imagination because mules represent the pinnacle of mint errors, often becoming multimillion-dollar pieces due to their extreme rarity and historical significance. Beyond these striking errors, collectors also carefully examine die preparation mistakes including misaligned mint marks, repunched mint marks, overpolished dies that erase details of Lincoln's coat or the memorial steps, abnormally deep die scratches that form striking lines across the fields, and die clashing errors where the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet in between, imprinting ghostly outlines of the opposite side into the metal, making the coin look like it holds a hidden image beneath its surface. When you combine all these categories, the excitement becomes more understandable, because sometimes coins emerge from the mint carrying multiple overlapping errors, and these combinations, when extremely unusual, become the stuff of legend, fetching astronomical prices when collectors believe they are unique or close to unique. So imagine a 2008 D penny that somehow ends up being struck on an exotic planchet, then receives a dramatic double die obverse, followed by a partial multiple strike, and finally shows signs of a die cap or brockage. Such a coin would transcend normal numismatic value and become one of a kind. And in such cases the typical price charts and auction histories no longer apply as wealthy collectors compete purely on the basis of rarity, uniqueness, and their desire to own something that no one else will ever possess, allowing prices to soar into the tens of millions. But the story also evolves from the perspective of collectors who see the 2008 D penny as a symbol of possibility, because the modern mint produces billions of coins and yet among these billions rare freak accidents still slip through undetected, resting quietly in circulation before someone luckier than they realize discovers them in a pocket, a jar, a drawer, or a box of unsearched rolls. And because new discoveries continue to happen even in recent years, collectors remain hopeful that the extraordinary example at the heart of this $13 million rumor might still be out there waiting for someone to find it. That sense of possibility is what gives the story its power, encouraging people to take a closer look at their coins, learn about mint errors and become part of a hobby filled with mystery, excitement, and the potential for life-changing discoveries. The 2008 D penny also benefits from the broader trend of rising interest in error coins due to viral stories.